202008. That must be it.
That would be it, yeah.
Okay.
So glad you can bring that up because I printed mine before the proposal for the schools was put on.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is a PDF. I don't know. If I open it with Google Docs, maybe I can put some comments in there.
It's 10:35, so I'm thinking we should go ahead and start unless anybody has an objection.
Go ahead.
Okay, so thanks for leaving that up, Tom. We're going to need that agenda. That's great.
All right.
Okay, so first of all, no objections to recording or sharing this meeting? Speak now or forever hold your peace. All right. So our goals: double our membership through bottom-up grassroots organizing, #1. #2, organize a coalition and campaign for a local pandemic Renew Deal. #3, increase candidate number above 2019 candidate recruitments. And 4, at least 3 social events, and that is already completed as of July of 2020. Short-term objectives already in place. For goal #1, become partners with mutual aid organizations in Milwaukee. And that is on Facebook, so we can all work on that. It's called Milwaukee Community Care and Mutual Aid. And the other short-term objective we came up last time was to call the sheriff and tell him to refuse to carry out mortgage foreclosure orders during the pandemic. And that's, you know, an action to keep the banks in check because they're foreclosing. It's not really necessary right now. Okay, introductions. I think everybody knows everybody. Does anybody not know anybody? Go ahead and speak now.
See, am I muted? I'm not sure.
No, you're not muted. Nobody's muted right now.
Sorry. Yeah, maybe Kerri, if you could just reintroduce yourself. I mean, I think I just need to hear one more time because I can't remember if you're from Waukesha or, you know, which area, you know, where are you?
Sounds like Kerri maybe didn't hear you.
Yeah, okay, well, maybe she's away. We don't, there's no video, so we don't know if she's away from.
Is Kerri muted?
Yeah, I suppose
I'm sorry,
I could.
I had to step away from my screen for a minute. I heard my name mentioned. What was there a question?
Oh, just kind of reintroduce yourself for my sake, and because I mean I know you have, but my brain hasn't. Like I don't remember geographically where you're from, and you know, just a little bit of basics.
Yeah, that's all we need for introductions is your name and where you're from.
Oh, okay. My name's Kerri. I live in Waukesha County, and that's about it.
Okay, thanks. And Jeff, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself too, because I don't know. Kerri, do you remember where Jeff is from?
I don't.
Okay, go ahead, please, Jeff.
Well, I've been the last meetings. I've been kind of like a fly on the wall here, just kind of trying to see if we can get a chapter going up here in the Fox Valley. And so I'm from Fond du Lac, and so just want to keep up with what's going on, at least in a nearby setting.
Okay, thanks. And you can see the co-chair report there. Did everyone hear that Mike might not be here today because of wedding. His wife's brother is getting married today, so they weren't sure whether they're going to be able to attend or not, but it looks like maybe they are attending. So as far as the co-chair report goes there, you can see it on the agenda. Any questions about that before we move on to the secretary report?
Well, I have a little update that apparently there has been a challenge with respect to the address change by Angela Walker, but we're relatively, I guess the question is, did she file, or when did she file the change of address? And that news is just like late last night. So I don't have anything more than that. But Mike, I think Mike was involved in a dialogue with the Election Commission with respect to that. But otherwise, yeah, we should be on the ballot. Sure.
Yeah, thank you for updating the co-chair report, Mike being involved with that. I'm keeping a stack, so if you want to speak, just say stack and your name.
Patty Stack.
Go ahead, Patty.
Where are we with the co-chair report for the minutes?
It's in the minutes, yeah. Can you see the minutes? Can you see the agenda on the?
On the agenda, I'm just trying to figure out what we, are you finished with the co-chair report?
Well, Mike wrote the co-chair report there on the agenda, and then Tom just added an item to it.
Sorry, and what was that? I was trying to figure out where we were. Tom, what did you add? I'm sorry.
Oh, I just said that Mike last night indicated that there has been a challenge to the petitions themselves because of the address change by Angela Walker.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, secretary's report. Approval of July minutes, and thank you to Patty who transcribed all of our minutes again, and really appreciate that because it goes out to the whole list, and so people that can't attend can see what goes on in our meetings. Is there anybody that wants to challenge the minutes, or can we approve the July minutes? Okay, no challenges heard. We will move on to Patty. Did you have anything you wanted to say as secretary?
No, I've nothing to report.
Thank you very much for your work.
You're welcome.
Treasurer's report. I haven't talked to Barb Eisenberg, so this is the June amounts here that you see on the agenda. And if she does chime in, we'll try to get a contributions report from her as well. She was working very hard in the petitioning, so she may not have fully recovered for that, or she may have another commitment. Membership committee report.
So that we talked about Tom. I don't have anything on membership to report other than at the CC committee meeting, I'm not CC, the membership committee meeting the other night, we discussed taking advantage of all the connections that were made during petitioning with people who worked on petitioning and expressed interest in, supporting the Green Party. So we're going to be organizing a membership drive, outreach drive to those people who worked on petitioning that are not our regular active members. That's all I have. Yes.
Thanks, Patty. Tom, did you want to just chime in there with the petitioning stuff as far as getting new members?
Okay. I don't know how much time you're going to give me, but we've got a variety of, we've got at least 2 lists. One of them I created per request of Dave, which is just, we looked at the nation builder list and look for active members, people that have volunteered, people that hit the contact me, people that donated money recently. We got about 600 there. It's like any list, it's imperfect. Dave started to go after people on that list to recruit new petitioners, but I think he's thinking that we should continue working that list. And then the other list that we have is the list of all our petitioners that we did in fact recruit, and we're thinking that we might be able to reach out to them to get them to do additional volunteer work and get more involved in the Green Party. And frankly, the other list we have is just the ongoing backlog of, there's new people because of all our efforts, right, that have hit Nation Builder. And I think Barb's pretty good, but I'm willing to bet there's a fair number of people that have hit our website recently that we should just pick up by doing our normal process of looking at the activity logs. So there's no shortage of potential people to, contact.
And we are going to hit this under petitioning as well. So when we do hit it under petitioning, Tom, could you speak specifically to what you did as far as, and what you recommend as far as when we run across someone when we're doing petitioning that we think is a likely candidate for being involved in the party or local party?
Okay, although I don't think I have a particular slant on that, but yeah, I mean, you can.
Yeah, I liked what you were saying about the tools you use, like giving out your card and stuff like that. So if you could just touch on that stuff when we get to the petitioning part, as far as getting new members.
Oh, right. Oh, I guess now that you mention it, there's one other potential list. Like as a petitioner, when you go out there, if you establish almost like a relationship, yeah, maybe I'm now doing what you asked, so I'll postpone that till later.
Thank you. And it's time for the IT social media report.
All right, I'm going to try this timing myself thing here. Okay, I don't know why, but okay, 3 minutes, right? So this is my attempt to kind of make a template. I think, there's an overlap between IT and everything. So I think in terms of how you document your work, there's a bunch of documents that came out of petitioning. There was the petition form itself, which is really kind of fascinating because it was poorly designed, and I'm sure on every person we lost like 15, 20 seconds because that form was badly made. And hopefully we can fix that next time, but I couldn't fix it this time. We came up with a document to capture the process of petition cleaning, which is a big topic. And I think the bottom line on the cleaning step is that really should be done by the person gathering the petitions. We have a document or more for petition locations, and we got more locations, more ideas. Document on how to run your pitch, little tips on turning people around. We came up with a web page. I tried to come up with like a one-stop shopping link so you could go to one place. Actually, it's a blog entry, and it's got pointers to all the other places. In terms of IT for YouTube, Barb leverage.
Excuse me, Tom. Was that someone trying to get on the stack?
Patty.
Okay, got you on the stack, Patty. Go ahead, Tom. Or did you wanna ask Tom a question right now, Patty?
Tom, you developed a link to tips on how to engage prospects, but where is that, did you say?
So there's one, there's one blog entry, and it's sort of like a tree. It points to another link, and then that link points to another link to another link, and you know, so you'd really have to so the single tree, I'll put it in the chat. It's right here. Blah blah blah. Where the heck is chat? More?
Was that in Google Drive, or?
It's not. There's no one answer. In other words, it's in multiple places. In other words, Barb's got her tips. I've got my tips. She's in one Google Doc. I'm in another Google Doc. Whatever. So.
Hey, Tom, can I make a suggestion just so the report doesn't run too long? I know there's other things. I know there's other things you want to get to with this report. Could you and Patty maybe connect up on that after the meeting or at a different time?
Sure, but I did put it in the chat. Yeah, so I'm at like almost 2 minutes. So shall I keep going?
Yeah. Is that okay, Patty?
Yes, that's fine, thanks.
So yeah, so Barb and I collaborated on the YouTube thing. That was kind of cool. Her method was to save to Google Drive and then email me the link, and then I uploaded it. And then I did also a video about Black Lives Matter, posted that. Let's see. So this is kind of a learning experience with IT doing these things. Streaming, I got, right now we're streaming to YouTube. Nobody knows about it because I didn't email it, but it's a good test run. And then a bunch of stuff. Let's see, Nation Builder. I haven't done too much on Nation Builder. Interesting. All right, I think I'm pretty much at the 3-minute mark. There's a lot more that happened, but I'm going to stop. Pass.
Yeah, I just have a question for you, Tom, or actually a comment. I know you and Jennifer have been working on the Greater Milwaukee Green Party website, so I just want people to be aware of that because some people have been concerned about, you know, how our website is updated and that kind of stuff, and I just want to let people know that Jennifer and Tom are working on that as a little subcommittee. So thanks, Tom, for doing that, and thanks to Jennifer as well.
I know we talked about me mentioning that twice and I forgot, but yeah, for example, we're meeting hopefully tomorrow. We're meeting once a week to try to get her up to speed and then get more graphics into the Greater Milwaukee Green Party site.
That's all right. Okay, and then the next item on your agenda there is just the volunteer job openings that we have right now. We have a media rep for Greater Milwaukee Green Party job opening. Mike has been doing that, but he is willing to train somebody to keep the media list, and that will be put out on Google Drive, and to develop the media, you know, our whole media representative position. And then Closed Milwaukee Secure Detention Facility is looking for us to have a steering committee position on their steering committee. So if somebody wants to volunteer to be on their steering committee, that'd be great. And the National Ethics Committee Code of Conduct Proposal Working Group also has an opening. And because we're one of the sponsors of that national proposal, we were asked if we would like to have a representative on that working group.
Stack.
Go ahead, Tom.
So I don't know what this is. What's the is it connected to? Okay, be quiet. Is it connected to the Milwaukee secure detention facility, or what is that?
You mean closed Milwaukee Secure Detention Facility Steering Committee?
This is so bizarre. Wait, why doesn't this stop? Yeah, well, I don't know what this National Ethics Committee Code of Conduct is.
At the national level, National Green Party level, there's a
Oh,
working.
right. Now I don't know why I'm being dense. Yeah, got it.
That's all right. That's all right.
Zach.
Go ahead, Patty.
I'm trying to follow the agenda that's in the screen share, and I don't know where we are now.
Right under Elections Committee report, volunteer job openings.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. And then the next item, do you need anything from us on that?
No, thanks.
Okay.
Stacked, Bill.
Go ahead, Bill.
Are we doing the elections committee report?
Oh, we can't because Barbara's not here, but we will be doing quite a bit on the petitioning process and all that today.
Well, I wanted to bring something up under the elections committee, and I think I
great.
just will, with your
Great.
permission here.
Great. Sorry, I missed that.
I don't know if people noticed, but on August 1st, Alex Brower announced his candidacy for the school board. And he is a dude Green Party, and he was our candidate for comptroller when he ran the last round of elections. So we need to contact Alex, and we need to clear it with Barb, but certainly the Greater Milwaukee Green Party needs to once again endorse Alex, get involved in his campaign. And it was really good for us the last time around. Alex ran jointly as the candidate for the Democratic Socialists and for the Green Party. And I think it really helped us with our visibility. So this is yet another electoral campaign that the Green Party can champion and make headway with. So I just wanted to bring that to people's attention.
Thanks so
Yes.
much, Bill. Sorry, I missed that. I'm gonna have myself on this deck and then Patty. So the reason I think Barbara might not be here is because she told me she's working on her thesis. So
Right.
yeah, I think that's what's going on with her. But yeah, thanks, Bill, for bringing that up because I would have missed that elections committee report. Go ahead, Patty.
Yeah, I'm just sorry. I'm just kind of still lost in the agenda. So the section that we're in right now should be under what heading with the volunteer job openings? I don't see a heading for that section. I can't remember what it should be.
It's right on. Yeah, it is volunteer job openings. It's the first item under elections committee report.
But the closed Milwaukee Secure Detention, National Ethics Committee, is that the coalition report, coalition reports? Where we are?
No, those are all job openings under the volunteer. Yeah, those are all volunteer job openings that we have right now. People that are saying, you know,
Okay.
our coalition members that are saying, hey, we have this opening. We'd like you to participate if anyone can take that on.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
And then we skipped back up, thanks to Bill, to the elections committee report, which is right above that.
I'm straight now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Patty, for your patience with us.
Sorry.
And now we're down to the proposal to have phone number for the local Green Party, and we're running a little bit late on this, Tom. So if you could just, well, Tom already made this proposal actually at the last meeting, but we didn't have time to take it up. So Tom, if you just want to give us a little quick background on that, and then we can go through the voting process with that.
Okay, so it would be a 414 phone number, and it's free. It's Google Voice. It does record voicemail. It transcribes the voicemail into email. You can forward the number to multiple other numbers. It has an association or a link with one primary phone number, which right now would probably be me, but that could be changed. Yeah, and then the idea would be that for, say, an event, or even on our website, we could, call this number if you want more information. We could do something like that. And I'm willing to be the person to get the calls. I've had experience doing this, publishing a number on a website, and I have not gotten that many spam phone calls. So, plus it's got the ability to block spam or block bad, numbers that do harass you.
Thanks, Tom. Any discussion? Okay, I'd just like to say then that Tom is always good about having a backup person, and so keeps reminding me about like training either me or somebody to be the Zoom backup person, because he coordinates the Zoom for this meeting as well. You can put that on your report too, Tom, for IT. One of the many things you do. And so a backup person would be nice too for that. And seeing that there is no further discussion, is there anybody that has a blocking concern about this proposal? Hearing none, is there anybody that wants to stand aside from this proposal? Okay, hearing none, then we have everyone in favor and we have consensus.
Great.
Okay, we're going to move to the public portion of our meeting, the team skills team building thing. So I just want to hear a quick poll today from everybody. How they felt about team skills during petitioning. So if you participated in petitioning, I just want to hear a yes or a no about team skills so I can keep some data on it. Whether you felt that team skills needed to be improved or that team skills were top-notch. So it's a yes or no thing, and who can start? Because I have to stay on the agenda. I can't see the screen for who's out there. So
Stack, Bill.
go ahead, Bill.
Well, I thought that the petitioning drive was a kind of a model of best practice for teamwork for the Wisconsin Greens. It was done in the most trying and challenging of circumstances with the pandemic, and consequently people like me got hardly any signatures. A small number of people, Barb, Tom, a number of others really carried most of the burden in terms of getting out there and talking to people and signing them up. But especially the last few days, you could see where the team building work that we've done in the past really paid off for us, because it was like a well-oiled machine where people were fanning out in different directions and gathering up every last signature. It was well coordinated. We processed and ordered the petitions. We got them there in a timely manner. And I think it was really testimony to some of the good practices we've had in the past in building teamwork in the Greens. Pass.
Thanks, Bill. I'm going to put you down for a yes. Okay,
That's a yes.
And yep, next person.
Stack.
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, so
So just keep it quick. We just basically,
right. The question,
for everybody.
So is there like any room for improvement? I mean, sure there is. I think one of my main beefs, if just kind of make it generic, is if you ask somebody to do some work and then you deliver it, you know, positive and negative feedback. And I emphasize the almost just like, hey, I got what you provided. And sometimes you send an email and you just wonder if the person even received the email. So, you know, some of us are really good about that, and some of us, it's just like I don't even know if the other person received it. And then maybe a week later, I find out they did. But generally speaking, I agree with Bill. It was excellent. And then I'd see other people like growing and doing new things, like Barb doing those YouTubes and then handing them off to me. That was an example. That's something brand new. We'd never did that before. And also Dave continuing to do the great job on the mail blasts, I think.
Okay. All right. So we're going to cover this stuff. We only have 5 minutes for this because this is just our team building, team skills. So we're going to cover a lot of this stuff during petitioning, you know, giving each other credit and stuff like that. We're also going to cover that under the thing on the bottom where we do the accomplishments, recognition, honoring people. So for this, what I need from people, for the rest of the people, is just a yes or no and not an explanation, because we're already at our time limit. But I do want to hit everybody that participated in the petitioning. So for me, I am going to give it from what I heard from other people, I'm going to give it we could still do a little bit more work on that. So, because it has to be a simple yes or no. Okay, so next, who else participated in partitioning? Not partitioning, petitioning. Did we hit everybody? Good. Okay, we got her. Okay, so announcements. I'm sorry, needs assessment. So we're pretty much done with the needs assessment thing. I wanted to use this time though, and Mike agreed, because we just had a really good experience for the Greater Milwaukee Green Party on the needs for petitioning. What does the Greater Milwaukee Green Party need next time for petitioning? And, you know, so we got 15 minutes for this. It's really important because as a political party, petitioning is one of the most important things we do to get our candidates on the ballot, right? So I'll keep a stack. Who would like to speak up about what we could do better next time as far as, or what we need as far as petitioning goes?
Patty Stat.
Go ahead, Patty.
This is a question because I didn't contribute anything to petitioning, and I'm sorry I wasn't able to, and I just want to say how impressed I was with what I was observing in all the chats and everything. But I have a question. So my question is, were you restricted to the time frame that you were working in, or did this sort of this project get launched late, so that I could see people were working so hard and really pushing. So were you limited to the start date for petitioning, or could this have been started and organized farther in advance? Pass.
Can someone answer that for Patty?
Tom Stack.
Go ahead, Tom.
I don't know how accurate this is. This is just kind of an emotional sense that, yeah, we did things pretty much by the book, meaning that or Barb was trying to get us launched, like right at the earliest date, which would have been, I think, the 1st of July. But I don't think we had anything going until significantly later than that. And I think part of that was I wasn't sure if I was actually going to go out because of COVID. Not, I mean, I just from my personal point of view, and I also just didn't see too much activity. So it seemed like as much as we tried to start on time, I think we lost maybe a week or so. That would have been, if we could have hit the ground running right at the very start, that would have helped pass.
Thanks,
So,
Tom.
Patty Stack.
Go ahead, Patty.
So would petitioning, and when we know an election is coming up, and if we know in advance that we are going to need to be petitioning at some point when that knowledge is there, I always feel like we need a little more advanced, like planning, like an annual calendar, or to put these activities on a calendar farther in advance, so that I just observe so often that people are just working so hard, but so kind of like trying to catch up, and it's very stressful for people.
Tom Stack.
Are you done, Patty?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Tom.
So we had it on a calendar at least a month in advance, and I'm not saying that directly addresses the issue, because I think a lot of people don't look at the calendar, but I was seeing it. And I think what was happening mentally, with me and Barb and Dave, is we were sort of holding out for legal relief. We were we contacted about 9 different lawyers, and it was, there's all this delay. You think, oh, well, they're going to respond, and they just consistently didn't respond, except for a couple who basically said they'd love to help, but they can't. So I think that was another factor. But you're right. For example, Barb had all these videos and everything. I think she was very focused on the promotion for petitioning. But then there was kind of that, instead of immediately starting petitioning after the promotion, there was kind of a lull. But enough on that, I guess. Pass.
Patty.
Okay. Go ahead, Patty.
So my suggestion is just that this is something the CC needs to take up at our the annual meeting that the CC has for planning for the year. I feel like this may be something that we need to put up, to the state CC coordinating committee. Pass.
Okay, I'm gonna put me on this stack. Would you feel comfortable making sure that gets on the agenda, Patty?
Yeah, I'll try. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Because I think you're right. Any way we can make people have less stress when they're doing petitioning, that would be great.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything that they want to say specifically about petitioning before we move on? I mean, not the aspect of petitioning that Patty and Tom have been talking about, before we move on to other needs that we have related to petitioning.
Back.
Go ahead, is that Bill? Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah. Well, I'd just like to focus on 4 people, 4 members statewide who really made the difference in us getting over the finish line with an adequate number of signatures. And those were Tom and Barb, the 2 Barbaras, Barbara Eisenberg and Barbara Dahlgren, and Rita Maniotis, from Barbara's mother. Those I volunteered to work on ordering and getting all of the signatures ready for Dave in Madison. I delivered all that we'd gathered in Milwaukee, and I think, of all the signatures we got statewide. Although it should be noted that we really had a lot of people.
Just so you know, Bill,
Dozens
you're
of
cutting out a
people
little
that
bit.
sent in 5 and 15 signatures. Okay, pass.
Yeah, thanks for that, Bill. You were cutting out a little bit, just so you know, but I think we got everything that you said. Anybody else on this stack for just the, well, Bill brought up a new item, a need for a new need for our needs assessment. I think he did anyway. It's just acknowledgement of the people that are doing the small parts as well as the big parts. And thanks too for talking about Rita, because I did not know that she played that big a part. So other needs that we have specifically related to petitioning is fine, but other needs that Greater Milwaukee Green Party has too, because we only have 5 more minutes for this component.
Tom Stack,
Go ahead, Tom.
just it's going back to the previous item. So just I wanted to acknowledge Bill's effort and going to Madison. My car wasn't, it was potentially available, but I had car trouble, and he did a lot of work on, I can't explain everything that he did, but I know petition cleaning was a big part of it, and just, the pressure of having, however many 1,500 petitions and having to deliver them or more. I don't know what it totally was, but again, I'm just wanted to acknowledge Bill. Pass.
Okay, thanks. And we'll be doing acknowledgements at the end. We have 5 more minutes for our needs, because this is going to be the last time we talk about what the needs are for the Greater Milwaukee Green Party. This is a good opportunity to talk about the needs we noticed during this critical petitioning time. It's also the last time we're going to talk about needs that the Greater Milwaukee Green Party has before we move on to the next component of our managing dynamic complex change, which is a vision, which will be maybe more fun. But I was joking with Mike too that, maybe what we need, one of the things we need is a good car that could get to Madison. So anybody else on needs? We have about 3 minutes on needs.
Okay, so Tom Stack.
Go ahead, Tom.
So when I was petitioning, I would always try to promote the local Milwaukee Green Party, and maybe we could just see if I was doing it the right way and figure out if there's an associated need. So I had a little card. It was a business size card, and it had 3 links. It had the state website, it had the our local website, and it had the Facebook site. And then I just talked up the meetings, monthly meetings, and encourage people to join. So maybe a need would be, what is our 30-second elevator speech to a new person, and could we make a little bit better Green Party card, because I think people appreciate having something small in their hand to remember that interaction by.
Good, Tom. Thanks. So we have about 2 minutes left for this component. The other thing that I was thinking as far as needs goes is like a consistent orientation. So even if it's just an orientation sheet that we hand out to new petitioners, so they have a really basic what to do, bang, bang, bang. And then we talked about getting people t-shirts and, those kind of things. So being that petitioning is such an important thing, maybe that's, one of the needs we have is to be having a little, kind of a little box, or a little, what would you have? A little handout box that goes to anybody that's a new petitioner that includes like a T-shirt and an instruction sheet and whatever else that we come up with. But we have to end this component in 1 minute. Go ahead, Tom.
Tom Stack.
Anybody else on the stack for that?
Patty.
Okay, let's start with Patty then, and we'll go to Tom next.
I know there was some question going around about T-shirts. I actually have the T-shirts. So FYI, I have the T-shirts. And so I need to maybe pass those on to someone else, or just put it out there that I have them for future. If you need T-shirts, they're with me right now. Pass.
Yeah, and Patty, just to address that, people did know that, and I think what happened was people were just overwhelmed and didn't have the ability to get those out to people. It seemed
Okay.
like, but we did know that. So thanks for storing those, because storage can be a problem for some of us. Go ahead, Tom.
So I tried to figure out, because I did get a number of people like, what, well, I actually, sorry, I'm going to try to stay focused here. The 12, or the 10 key values and the 4 pillars, there's a flyer, it's 2-sided, and I had looked through flyers and I settled on that as the best flyer to introduce somebody to the Green Party. So I had that in my petition kit. So I just think it's a valuable thing to, you know, like what are the petitioning focus me.
Okay.
And
So so the way I'm going to put that down, and Patty, maybe we could have this in the minutes, is that we need an orientation packet for petitioners so that they feel confident, and that way even if someone can't train them, they have the stuff and they can use it or not use it. You know, we can't make people use stuff, but is that okay?
Yes, got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to announcements because we're out of time for that item. So Greater Milwaukee Green Party and coalition events are posted under events on our Greater Milwaukee Green Party page on Facebook. Facebook has still eliminated again actually our tab on our group page. So we have no events tab on our group page. Color of Change corporate divestment video. So that's a Black Lives Matter group, Color of Change, and they seem very, very to have their act together. Mike and I both had that experience with them. They have a recent thing out, and that's you'll see the URL there for it, policepiggybank.com, about corporate divestment, corporate divestment video. And the March on Washington was announced by Reverend Sharpton. We announced that last time. That's supposed to be August 28th. I haven't heard anything more on it. Has anybody else heard anything more on that?
I have not. And good morning, all.
Oh, good morning, Mike. I didn't know you joined us. I can't see the people because I have to stay on the agenda. Do you want to, I'll pass this to you after this part here.
I'm willing to be in the rank and file, but because you're doing a fine job. But I'll take it if you want me to.
No, you definitely can take it, but I'll just cover this next items on the announcements that are mine, if that's okay. So 8:10, which is
Monday.
tomorrow. Oh yeah, Monday. Thanks. Monday, the new Milwaukee County executive will be laying out his vision for what's his plan for Milwaukee, and that's the URL for that there. And Ajamu Baraka is working with the Black Alliance for Peace, and that is the URL for that there. And then the possible, this is from George, this last stuff. There's going to be a possible march on the DNC in Milwaukee, but there's going to be a definite rally for the DNC for for the DNC, and that's going to be 4:30 on August 20th at Red Arrow Park. And George is going to do a training for marshalling on the 18th in Kern Park at 7 p.m. for people that want to be marshals for that rally and the possible march that might occur at that rally.
Is this new? Because I'm not seeing it in the agenda.
It's in the agenda. I'm looking at the agenda right now. I'm reading it from the agenda. It's under announcements.
Okay, I'm kind of lost too, Greg. Can you show where you are in that on the agenda?
Yep, we're under announcements, which is right after.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody got it?
Well, I see the Ajamu Baraka, then the coalition updates, but I wonder if maybe I have an older version of the agenda.
No, you print. I think you're bringing it up right from Google Docs, aren't you, Tom?
Can you put your?
No, I'm bringing it from a PDF.
I may be looking at the same.
Yes, yeah. This is it's on my copy, which I printed on my way here. Yes, and it is in the current issue, the current version of the. So what as Greg pointed out, there will definitely be a rally. There was a press conference by the coalition to march on the DNC on Friday. I believe it was either Thursday or Friday.
Thursday, I think.
To announce that yes, there would still be demonstrations, even if nobody was inside the building. So yes, martial training is at 7 p.m. on the 18th at Kern Park.
So Tom, can you go in and share your screen with the current Google Doc instead of taking it from a PDF?
I got that from an email from Mike, and I don't know where he's storing the agenda, so I wouldn't know where to look for it.
Oh, okay. You can't find it in the Google Docs. Okay.
I could only.
Well, if he shared it with me, maybe go to shared with me.
I can probably.
It looks like.
I shared it with you, Tom, when I.
Yeah. Okay, so
when I developed it.
Right. So okay, this is probably the right one.
Yes.
I'm going to do a gentle time reminder here because we're past time for announcements, so we're up to coalition updates.
There it is.
Okay.
Here it is.
Okay. Oh, here it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. So this one doesn't allow me to make any changes. All right. That I find that annoying because I like to take notes and whatever. Okay. I could make a copy of it. Go ahead.
We'll give you edit rights next time.
Right. So is it screen shared for everybody now, Tom?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I can't see it. Okay, so we're up to coalition updates, Mike.
Okay. Tom, could you hide the graphic there? There we go.
Right.
Okay. So we have the usual highlights for coalition updates. Who can the Human Rights Watch event, is that upcoming or?
No, I can speak to that. That was on the 5th, and it was done by Human Rights Watch. It's a new report. The author was Allison Franco, and it was sponsored locally by our local American Civil Liberties Union Smart Justice Program. So it was what do you call that? A Facebook event.
Uh-huh.
A full title. The full title was Revoked, How Probation and Parole Feed Mass Incarceration. And I can just give you quickly the solutions they came up with, and then I'll post the actual notes that I got because they're really related to Milwaukee and Wisconsin. They did 3 states. They did Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Georgia. So we are featured massively in this report by Human Rights Watch. And the solutions they came up with were divest from supervision and revoking, unconditional discharge instead, proportionate and flexible community service. Supervision workers agree that there are too many people on supervision, so work with supervision officers, and also addiction professionals agree that incarceration does not help with chronic addiction and actually exacerbates the problems. So work with addiction professionals as well. Go after Governor Evers. He has the power to commute sentences for these minor things and also using drugs, etc. And they said you can commute within 6 to 12 months of being discharged. So you can commute the person's sentence within 6 to 12 months of being discharged. The American Civil Liberties Union was having a clemency town hall at the same time. So that's what Evers would be doing, is granting clemency. Supervision workers can stop putting holds and stop imprisoning people for rule violations. That was another solution. And community advocates used to, when supervision started, it was started by community advocates. Now what they're doing is they have officers with badges and guns going out to be the community, to be the advocates for supervision, and it's not working very well. It's to go back to the previous way of just using community advocates. And let's see, they said, tell the stories so that politicians can see how revocation has affected our lives. And let's see, ask Evers, what is the progress on his campaign promises with this parole and probation stuff? So call Evers. Another thing they mentioned, and I found it on Facebook, is in Milwaukee, we have something called the Community Justice Council of Milwaukee. They have a big website, and I didn't explore their website, but we might want to work with them and get them to even come to our meeting and speak to us, whatever. Also, Evers can end the practice of crimeless revocation. I don't know. This is, I'll put the rest of the solutions on my notes when I publish them, because this is going on for too long, but it was really useful. So that was it for Human Rights Watch report. As far as Normal goes, that one's also mine. Normal has a new website, and it's about registering to vote. So that was a very useful tool for people to register to vote. It makes it real easy. It's not our local Normal, it's a national Normal, but came through our chapter. And I'll pass.
Okay. So Wisconsin for Safe Technology.
Could I just go back one? I will speak to Wisconsin for Safe Technology, but the EndtheWars Coalition Stand for Peace, we had quite a good turnout at the Hiroshima stuff. So Tom, did you want to speak to that? Because I'm going to do a gentle reminder on that too, because I took up too much time. So we do have a gentle reminder on time for that. So.
Okay, my seat of the pants estimate, I would say they were all spread out, but over 60 people, and it was wonderful. But separate, since we don't have much time, there's a event happening today, which is a rehearsal, and then it will be followed, I believe it's today, like right after at 12:30, at a billboard, which is an anti-war billboard, and the location's very important, and I got up to try to find the location, but I can follow up later. And I believe the subsequent main event will be during the DNC convention, and this is something that the peace groups are very focused on. So they want people to show up for that. So pass.
Thanks, Tom.
Patty Stack.
Go ahead, Patty.
In the agenda, you have at the beginning of this section, you have the Facebook link. Are all of these, can these be found by going to that link?
Yes.
Okay.
Cool.
As far as, I guess the next one is Wisconsin for Safe Technology, and that's especially tuned to 5G. A woman named CC Doucette did a presentation to the Ashland County Board, and that's that link there, and could be really effective for us to maybe get her to come down and speak to our county board about 5G to protect us from that. The next one is also mine. I'll just do that real quickly. Is Milwaukee Community Care and Mutual Aid, and that's what they're looking for is food donations, school supplies, specific clothing items, and household supplies, especially for cleaning. So you can do that through that Facebook page, Milwaukee Community Care and Mutual Aid. And we're up to Poor People's Campaign, Mike.
Okay. I'll largely pass on this. I will note that the Wisconsin Poor People's Campaign continues to have monthly calls or approximately monthly calls that I try to post to the list. I haven't, we just either missed one or it's coming up, and I will double check on that after the meeting. Good group to be, I have not, like I say, I haven't made any of the local events, but it's an important national campaign that we need to pay close attention to.
Is it okay? I'm going to chime in on that too and put myself on the stack. Right after our last meeting on July 19th, the Poor People's Campaign did a national, I don't know what you call these things, but a Zoom thing. And it was called We Must Do More, MORE, and I think that has to do with the MORE Act possibly, for Pride, a riot on queer activism. And I did attend that in a Zoom way. And Reverend Barber, I think, was the person that did most of the speaking, but a lot of the speaking anyway. And he was saying that thanks to the Two-Spirit people, which is what Native American people call queer people of Native American descent, and they really honor those people. Also said that the Poor People's Campaign has always been joined with the queer people's struggle and vice versa. Also mentioned 40% of all homeless teens are queer, and did some history stuff as well, like the 1962 gay purge at the University of Wisconsin in Madison, and the 1969 Madison Alliance for Homosexual Equity was founded. That was the first organization in Wisconsin. And I mentioned that now we still have work to do in Wisconsin. For instance, conversion therapy in Wisconsin statewide is not a law yet. So that's blocked by the Republicans, and that's for youth. It's not for adults. It's to block that kind of thing for youth because it's generally considered by the National Psychological Association to be harmful to youth. So, thanks. I'll pass.
Tom Stack.
Go ahead, Tom.
So out of the petitioning, a coalition, we had a happy coincidence. I guess is Lee Stedman maybe maintaining. I don't know if you can see my screen, but there's an official. There's this Google Sheet with all the Black Lives Matter events. That I think it's still active, and it's also been referenced on the Bail Out the People site by Babette, and so it's just a good resource to know about.
Yeah, and I've posted that too for people on the list a couple of times because it is really useful. You can find what's going on every week.
Right.
Thanks, Tom.
Pass.
The last thing that I have on here is the 350 Week of Climate Action, and part of that was a Sunrise Movement sponsored thing where Supreme Moore was kind of held to his, well, it was actually sponsored by Citizen Action, and it was for Supreme Moore's candidacy. And the coordinator was Travana. I didn't get her last name, but she's the Southeast Co-op coordinator for Citizen Action's Green New Deal campaign. And so he talked about, you know, he's on the city county task force. He said Ashanti Hamilton, the chair of the county board, takes this very seriously. So that's a good thing to know. Jobs and equity have been included in this 70-page report that they turned into the city. And that is approved by the city already, that report. He also mentioned 350 Milwaukee and George Martin, giving them credit. He said they've been trying to work with the state Mandela Barnes task force, trying to work with the Green New Deal at the state level, with city council task force. So far, nothing is solidified with them. He said, what we need to do is contact our city county officials and tell them that the Green New Deal is a priority and climate justice. And the report will be presented in September to the county board. And let's see, one of the things he said we could do as well is automatic registration, just like the military, only for voting. So they catch people in high school for the military, and same thing could be done for voting. So thanks. I'll pass on that. And we're up to short-term objectives for goal number 3, I think, Mike.
Yes, just for Patty's benefit, the links, the one at the top of the coalition events, that is actually the Supreme Moore event, and then that last Facebook link is for the 350 stuff.
That's a search within Facebook. I'm not
Yeah.
sure that one works so well right now, but.
So these are not all posted on our Facebook.
Correct. We're organized as usual.
Okay.
Yeah, sir, I messed that up.
No problem.
Anyway, short-term objectives for our third goal, the third long-term goal, which is to increase our candidate number above 2019. We have, to a certain extent, we don't need a short-term objective because the deadlines have all passed.
Okay.
Does anyone wish to have a further discussion on either candidate recruitment generally for next time to perhaps define lessons learned or stuff that we need to do better on for either 2021 or 2022, or have just another short-term objective for the next 6 months or 4 or 5 months now.
I'm going to put myself on the stack for that. I just want to give some credit to Bill because he was talking about Alex Brower has announced his candidacy for school board. So, Bill, did you want to speak to that or again, or for Mike's benefit, or whoever wasn't here?
Yes. Yeah. Can you hear me okay? Because there was a bad connection before.
Yep.
Terrific.
I hear you good.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be at the DSA meeting later today, so I can get some more information. But Alex did announce on August the 1st that he was running for school board. And someone, I can talk to him, but I think Barb in particular was the person that worked most closely with Alex. But we should be prepared to endorse his campaign at our next monthly meeting, if not before, and get involved like we did with his last campaign for comptroller. He's a fantastic campaigner, and he will run as publicly as the Green candidate, I'm sure. He did the last time, so pass.
Thanks, Bill.
Bill, do you know if it's what district he's running in, or is this I think there's only one citywide seat, and that's Peterson's.
You know, I really don't know. I just saw that he announced. I contributed to his campaign, and I was hoping at the DSA meeting today I would get more information on it. But I would imagine if we would just search it online, we could answer some of those questions.
Yes.
Pass.
Thanks, Bill.
Anybody else on the stack for that? Okay, we are behind, Mike, so we could move on to the next item.
Without objection. Future outreach actions. We've been talking about doing things when things are safer, although we obviously clearly have members now who are able and willing to get out in public and talk green to folks. So something to think about.
I'm going to put myself on the stack for this one. So Save Our VA, 92nd in Beloit. I'm not sure I want to go to a bar yet, but with the Hiroshima and Nagasaki thing, people did a really good job of social distancing, and everyone, I think, had a mask on. So that was pretty impressive at the lakefront. And like Tom said, there were about 60 people there. So that was pretty impressive. And, you know, we've got a lot of exposure. So pass.
Stack.
Go ahead, Tom.
So I had a guy ring my doorbell, and we talked in Safer at Home. He said something like Safer at Home ended officially in May, but most people didn't really get going until June 8th. So it's legal for us to actually canvass door to door. That doesn't mean people are actually going to come to the door. But his technique was he rang my doorbell and then he stood back at least 6 feet waiting for me to come to and it worked. Pass.
Thanks, Tom. Anybody else on the stack for that? Because I'm going to do a gentle time reminder on this one. We only had 2 minutes for it and we're over time. Okay, we can move on, I guess. Mike?
Discussion of the cashless economy, which is, I think, what this is about.
Yeah, I brought that up. And, you know, getting rid of money in favor of cards is what it seems like the federal government's been trying to do, both under the Obama administration and now under the Trump administration, saying that there's no coins, we're running out of coins, that kind of thing. So you know, we are out of time, but if anybody has anything they want to say about that, maybe we could, I don't know.
Perhaps we can put this on a future agenda as well, because, yeah.
Sure. Okay, I don't hear anybody on the stack mic.
So we wanted to put a couple minutes just to remind folks that there will be a fall gathering. At least I assume that, presumably right after the election. Are there any plans afoot yet?
No.
Okay, thanks.
I suspected that, but we've been kind of busy the last few weeks. So now, more importantly, that thing that we've been busy with. This is the time, and I apologize if we've sort of had this discussion already, but now is the official time to talk about petitioning, the experience. I should give the general report that on Tuesday we submitted nearly 4,000 signatures for Howie and Angela. 3,300 were certified by the State Elections Board as of Thursday. But folks may have heard about the whole issue of Angela moving she moved actually before we printed our petitions, but we did not learn of that until the last week of petitioning. We made some new petitions. We worked with the staff at the Wisconsin Elections Commission to see what we should do, what the best plan was. And generally speaking, we carried that out to the best of our abilities the final week. However, there was an individual in Madison who challenged our petitions based on the multiple different addresses for Angela Walker. My understanding is that there will be a hearing at the Wisconsin Elections Commission on Monday Howie's campaign manager will be our point person. She attending that and making the case for the campaign. It is possible, though my personal opinion is that it is unlikely that we would get thrown off the ballot, basically on the basis of all of the petitions that we did that have been certified up until now. But technically the Elections Commission, which is composed of, I believe, 5 Democrats and 5 Republicans, could rule us off the ballot. So that's the current status. We should know by the end of next week if we're on the ballot. Folks have also probably heard of the more serious challenge to Kanye West's petitions. And we can talk about that too if people want. But mostly this is for trying to gather up lessons learned.
And I'm going to do a gentle time reminder because we are over time, but this is one of the most important things on our agenda. So, you know, I'm sure we want to give it some time. Tom, did you want to be on the stack?
Stack.
Okay, go ahead, Tom.
So just a couple of clarification questions. As I understand it, at the end game, we were able to, because the logistics at the end are kind of critical. It was acceptable for us to do multiple deliveries to the Wisconsin Election Commission, not just one delivery. So that's kind of one question. And then another question is, do we have to have an official officer of the Green Party as the person doing those deliveries to the Wisconsin Election Commission? or could say some ringer petitioner, you know, somebody who gathered a large, or, you know, could it just any petitioner go in there and submit their petitions? And I guess now as I express this, I'm wondering, could these have been done earlier? You know, like, could we have submitted some like the prior week? And then the last question is just, or thing is just, I think we need to review the petition cleaning process, and that there's a lot of room for improvement in that. We could discuss that. So maybe Bill could address, Bill and Mike could answer some of those questions. Pass.
Mike Stack.
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay. I didn't take notes, so I'll try and answer your questions as best I can. Yes, you can make multiple submissions. Of course, that would, but in this particular situation, of course, you know, we had to make an appointment to deliver petitions. And yes, you can make multiples as long as everything that meets the 5 p.m. Tuesday deadline are the ones that count. I don't think the Elections Commission cares who brings the petitions in. Doesn't have to be an officer. But I think it's a reasonable assumption that whoever turns them in is is an organizer for the campaign. But yes, theoretically, anybody could go and deliver petitions. Let's see. Yeah, we need to get better at cleaning stuff. It's been a long time since we've had new people involved, and so this was an excellent exercise. Was that it?
Stack, Bill.
Yeah, I think so.
Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, the comment was made earlier.
You're cutting out again, Bill.
Sure, in the future that the design. What's that?
You're
Am I
cutting out
breaking up
again.
again? I'm breaking up.
But now you're okay.
Yeah, no,
All
you're
right.
okay.
Earlier in the meeting, the comment was made that we needed to pay a special attention in the future to the design of our petitions. I took responsibility for so-called cleaning of about 2,300 of the signatures, and about 90% of the cleaning involved simply writing in the municipality. Most people wrote it in the wrong column, so you just had to carry it over to the correct column. And I think if we can address that problem going forward, our so-called cleaning tasks will be much reduced. Pass.
Thanks, Bill. Anybody else on the stack?
Tom Stack.
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I think I may have said this before, but yeah, I'm going to echo back what Bill just said, and we need somebody who's, keep your eye out for somebody who knows Google Docs really well, because that's all it is. And I tried to fix the form, but when I tried to get rid of that line, it was fighting me. I couldn't get rid of that. So there's a line in one field that divides the address up into 3 separate lines. So people just psychologically, they're just so used to that second line being municipal, you know, like Milwaukee, Wisconsin zip code. So, but then my second point is that as a petitioner, when I was good, which is about 50 to 60% of the time, I would watch them. And unfortunately, it's the second to last column, so you have to delay. And I just have to, I'd watch them, and I'd watch them just about to make the mistake, and they'd say, no, you got to put the municipality in that second to last column. And if they didn't, I'd actually try to get them to write it in so it saves the cleaning work. But then the other point I have is that I think we got to train petitioners that, unfortunately, an additional part of the job is maybe the day after they do the petitions, you sit down in the morning and they are the ones that should be cleaning the petitions, because they are the ones who certify it with their signature. So in a strictly legal level, they should be the ones doing the corrections. Pass.
I'm going to put myself on the stack for that too. Actually, nope, this is a completely separate item. Sorry. Anybody else on the stack for presidential ballot access petitioning recap? I guess that's it for that item, Mike, and we're a little bit behind.
I have one other thing to say, which is just that don't forget that Barb and I and the people that went out there, we talked to hundreds of people and we got reactions about the Green Party. So, I mean, we can go on and on, but there's patterns that we saw. And one of the most disturbing ones is that people in their 20s have no idea, a lot of them, what the Green Party is. So it seems like we faded out of the media. You know, I don't know if it's always been that way, but that was a little bit of a shock to me.
Okay, I'm going to put myself back on the stack for that because that's a really good point, Tom. Patty, if we could have in the minutes, you know, these things that are things that we can improve the petitioning process with next time, that would be really great. Like, you know, educating young voters.
Yeah, I think I have them all in there. I'll go back and double check. And I do want to be on the stack for Tom's point.
Go ahead, Patty.
I think with connecting with the youth, we need to do a better job with our social media. That's where they're going to be. And it's ever evolving. And if we don't keep up with where the youth are going for their social media, we're not going to get to them. I don't know what my sense is they're mostly using Instagram these days. And I think that's a need that we have, is someone who's young and on top of all the latest media, social media that the youth are using, because they're not going to be going to Facebook and what we're doing now. So that's my point. Pass.
Did you say Instagram, young lady?
Yeah. And I mean, if anybody likes to dance, TikTok would be good as long as it doesn't get censored or whatever. But yeah, that's where they are. It's my understanding these days.
Yeah, I hope that's going to be in the minutes too, because that's a really good suggestion, Patty.
Mike Stack.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yes. No one claimed the social media director spot when we lost Dennis. Gosh, forgot his name already.
Keith.
You're
talking about Keith. Yeah.
Keith Bromley. When Keith Bromley went to Missouri, he took all of his social media skills with him. And yes, we do desperately need a volunteer to be the social media director, because he was doing a terrific job. And yes, we need somebody to be on top of that, because yes. But at the same time, I do want to acknowledge that we need to also just be as involved with with movements and political activity as we possibly can.
I have Tom on the stack. Are you done, Mike?
Yes. Pass.
I have Tom on the stack and then me. Go ahead, Tom.
So,
gentle reminder for
Yeah,
time.
in hindsight, this is kind of obvious, but I continue to follow Keith, and he continues to tweet prolifically, and they continue to be good. You know, he, in some respects, he could just keep going. So if we want to recruit somebody, we could start following Instagram and following Twitter and looking for people that align with our values, and then reach out to them and say, hey, you're already such a great social media person. How about joining the Greens? So it's just an idea.
Great suggestion, Tom. And who is after Tom on the stack? Okay, well, I hope, you know, I guess that's the end of the stack, Mike, and we are out of time on that one too.
Okay, thanks everyone. When we get to recognition, I will point people again to Bill's item in the chat. You all can go look at it now. Next item, the Together We Stand celebration, which was a couple of weeks ago. Did anyone go? I'm going to take that as a no. It is because it is getting late. Unless people want to highlight particular possible events for party work upcoming, I'll propose that we move on to the school proposal.
Proposals.
I'm going to put me on the stack first on that possible events, and then Tom. I just want to say that, you know, most of that is written there, but I had a really good experience at the Bronzeville Week event last weekend. Contacted a lot of people about the Green New Deal and got some signatures. Most people were more interested in eating than giving me their signature, but you know, a lot of exposure for, I kept asking them, have you heard of the Green New Deal? And they took those old flyers. So, and then I think this is actually, is this a link, Tom, to the Black Lives Matter spreadsheet? Did I put that or did you?
Well, let's take a look. Oh, it looks like it looks like it's the same thing. Right?
Okay,
Yeah.
good. And then the Labor Day, there are 2 events listed still happening on Labor Day. So the 3rd Ward Art Festival is a chance to do some, you know, Green Party marketing. And the Harley Festival is listed, still is happening at the Harley Museum. So anybody else? Oh, Tom's on the stack. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, just maybe it's obvious to everybody, but River West was just a gold mine as far as signatures, and you know, I ran into DSA people. It just seems like it's like why have I not been going there more? And I kicked myself. So I kind of bounded from Burleigh. You go Burleigh, Locust, and then south of Locust, what is it? Center, and then it's still good at Center, you know, Fuel Cafe and the radio station, and then south of Center, Clark Street is especially good with the garden there and the outdoor bars, and there's just a lot of people outside talking to each other. It's just wonderful. Pass.
Okay, there's nobody else on the stack, Mike.
Great. Well, I think we have 2 minutes to talk about Milwaukee Ward Flyers.
Okay, so Milwaukee Ward Flyers is just a tool that anyone can use to see what's happening in their ward as far as who represents them and that kind of stuff. Very handy, so we don't have to remember all those names and that kind of thing. So anybody else want to say anything else about that? Nobody on the stack, Michael?
And note that it's just the city of Milwaukee. Gosh, it'd be nice if we got to do that in the county. But such is life.
Mike, when we move on to proposal of schools, is it okay if we give that some more time for the discussion and voting and stuff?
Yes,
Okay.
since it's 12:08. So let me explain the background here. Yesterday, I received proposal number 1 from Adam Kasulki, who asked that it be placed on the agenda. I read it over. I believe that A, it's a little wordy. B, it has some issues in terms of building unity in the local. So I proposed, did a shorter and more specific language, and I would move proposal number 2. But we should have discussions on either one.
Stacked, Bill.
Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I like proposal number 2. It's really succinct and it says basically everything that it needs to say. So I would recommend that we go with the formulation in proposal 2. Pass.
Sorry, I was in the bathroom quickly. I'm back.
We don't allow that.
Anybody else on the stack? I hear Patty.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay. Yes. Basically, actually, no. I've said what I'm going to say. I would. To clarify, I propose that we adopt the language in proposal number 2, and that once passed, we place this on our Facebook page, the discussion list, and the and any other social media that we control.
I missed the discussion, sorry, but what was the problem with proposal number 1? Other than, to me, the more information, the better. So that's why I'm asking.
I think there are. It's too, it's wordy. I think that there are some people who are involved in the chapter that might have questions about some of the language being included. I think that we should just continue to stand on our historic platform, which was we stand for workers and unions to address all of the, to address their questions. And we've got, and we should absolutely support, if the teachers go out on strike, we should be on the picket lines with them.
I agree. And that's why, to me, I like number 1 better, but what are we saying? What are we objecting to there? Bill, I have Bill on the stack, I believe. Go ahead, Bill.
Proposal number 1 tends to second guess the teachers. That is to say, it has certain details in there concerning a 5-day week, in-person instructional delivery and so on. Really, that's something for the staff the teachers to decide. And number two indicates our general support and solidarity and our willingness to stand behind the teachers and staff around the fight for health and safety. And we defer to their judgment as to what that specifically means. Proposal one is already laying out specifics, and I don't think we need to be telling the teachers and staff what the specifics are. We need to stand with them on health and safety. So that's why I would support proposal number two. Pass.
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Patty. Tom, were you on the stack?
No, but I support two. I don't
Okay.
like some of the adjectives, severe and horrific. That's kind of hyperbolic. Pass.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Patty.
I support two. I think proposal two covers everything, all of the possible challenges or situations in one, basically, to me, is covered by the statement in proposal two. Pass.
Okay, anybody else on the stack?
The only question is, do we have a quorum? Can we do this, or what's the deal on that?
I could look in the bylaws, but I think, does anybody know off the top of their head, or should I look in the bylaws?
Good.
Curtis was our man for that.
Well, I have, go ahead, Patty.
Oh, yeah, go ahead and finish. I'm not talking about the bylaws.
Oh, okay. So does anybody, I can check the bylaws. Go ahead, Patty. Talk about whatever you want.
So these proposals, Adam Kasalki submitted proposal number one, is that right?
Correct.
And then proposal number two, where did that come from?
Yours truly.
Okay.
Stack, Bill.
Go ahead, Bill. I think Greg's looking.
I may be wrong, but I helped draft is a quorum stipulation, and I think that those of us gathered right here can decide.
I'm looking. Let's
I'm
see.
wondering, speculating, Bill, if you stop sharing your video, maybe your audio will be better. Who knows?
Decisions. The Greater Milwaukee Green Party shall use modified consensus, seeking general agreement, hearing all views, concerns in full. Consensus shall be first sought. And decision by all bodies shall be approved by 2/3 majority. Yep. Bill's right.
No quorum established.
Yep. We have quorum.
Okay.
You know, just by
Yes.
using consensus. Good question, Tom.
Any two greens can do a project.
So that's, anybody else on the stack for that? Okay, I guess discussion's over, Mike.
The motion on the floor, the proposal on the floor is to adopt proposal two.
Right.
Is there, are there any blocking concerns? Are there any stand asides? I believe we have consensus.
Okay.
And so I will make sure that that gets into the feeds by Monday. Next item. Next item is Does anyone have any ideas for what to do for next month's agenda?
Jeff has the sign issue.
Thanks, Tom. You want to speak to your yard sign issue, Jeff?
Oh, yeah. Well,
Actually, Jeff, if you want to, that can be on this month's agenda, because I did write it in. I just had no way to write it in on the screen, so.
yeah, I just thought that in the interest of saving money on giving out to everybody, which is very costly, maybe we could use those new nylon plastic sign, and if people have wires from previous campaigns, I mean, it's a very simple process to just, it's like a sleeve, you just flip it right over the wire, and mailing them out should be real easy to do. Just use a bubble pack envelope, fold them over like maybe 3 times, and could be a really inexpensive process if we want to get those out. But of course, we have to wait till the campaign itself gives us the signage. So I don't even know what those signs are going to look like. But I think we should, maybe put the pressure on and get them, get those signs rolling to get find out who's supposed to supply those.
Anybody else on the stack for that? Thanks, Jeff.
Highly agreed. I have not looked at the Howie store yet, and I need to do that to see what's available now and what and or what's coming. Because yes, I'm sure there will be Hawkins Walker signs as there were 4 years ago. So yeah, I'm all in favor of saving money, but we should invest some perhaps early.
Okay. Anybody else on the stack for that? All right. I guess that's it for the stack for that one, Mike.
Okay. We are up to accomplishments and recognitions. Bill has provided us with a handy list of state and local petitioners that we want to thank, and also folks who were at the Peace Action Lanterns for Peace event on Thursday. And nearly at approximately half of our signatures were delivered by Tom Rodman, Barbara Eisenberg, Barbara Dahlgren, and Rita Maniotis, Barbara's mom. And she came up from Illinois. I am, well, we're all indebted to you. Some of you literally, I think, and desperately, this was an amazing effort. In a difficult situation. So I have thanked you all before, and I undoubtedly will again. Thanks for everyone who participated in the ballot drive in whatever way they could. And then Tom, Greg, and Bill also were at Lanterns for Peace, which is also a wonderful, wonderful thing. And I'm glad they were able to do it this year.
Anybody else on the staff for that one? Accomplishments, recognition, things you want to thank people for? I guess I do, because I'm not sure it was on the last, it might have been on the last agenda that we honored Patty for all she did for the taxes for the Green Party this year that Bill brought up. But
Now
That
we can
sounds
do it in
good.
person, sort of.
Yeah,
Thank you,
that was
Patty.
great. Yeah.
I got it in the minutes for last time, so thanks, everybody.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
And Patty, yeah, thanks very much. And also, you learned a bunch of stuff, and I think maybe next time I could help automate that a little bit. So maybe we could do a retrospective later, you know, or
Yeah,
you.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's more work that needs to be done when the things settle down a little bit here on the finances, and Bill and I will be coordinating on that. But yeah, definitely, Tom, it'd be good if we could get some time to get on that before the next reports due.
Right, because I think you did a lot of manual cutting and pasting, but yeah, it's awesome. You're an Excel expert, I think.
Not quite, but I was able to navigate that one, yeah.
I wanted to just honor Jennifer too for her willingness to work on our Greater Milwaukee Green Party website. She's not here today, but that'd be nice if that could be in the minutes.
Absolutely. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, me too. I think that's, is anybody else on the staff for accomplishments recognition?
Let me just throw this out. I suspect there's going to be the regular social event on Wednesday. That would be a good opportunity for us to celebrate our victory in getting on the ballot.
Oh, maybe a couple things. I think Thistle got petitions and Monte got petitions. I was impressed. I know Monte's really busy, and
Yeah,
I'm sure I missed some other people too, but I just happened to see those.
Greg too. So thank you,
Great.
Greg.
Yeah, and Paul Aschenbrenner too. I don't know how many of you know Paul Aschenbrenner, but he used to be a Greater Milwaukee Green Party co-chair.
Yes.
I know he got some signatures.
Oh,
There
excellent.
were dozens of people
Excellent.
that got signatures, dozens.
Thanks, Bill. Maybe we could honor him a little bit each time as we go through accomplishments and recognition, eventually getting all the names in there.
That'd be, yes, let's try and do that.
Okay. And gentle time.
Here we are. Call to action.
Call to action. Are we ready? Okay.
Who's got one?
I got.
Okay.
We believe in alternative independent politics.
We
We
believe.
believe in alternative independent politics
And active, responsible government.
and active, responsible government.
We believe in empowering of all citizens.
We believe in empowering all citizens
And communities to create the world we want.
and communities to create the world we want.
We offer hope and a call to action.
We offer hope and a call to action.
Green and growing.
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 Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
See y'all later.
Okay.
Have a good weekend.
Next
Yeah.
time, September 12th.
Yes.
Next time, September 12th. Inclination is still to continue to meet remotely. I promise ahead. I want to, at the very least, take my cues for when the libraries reopen for meetings in Milwaukee, because that's where we used to meet. And I think that they will be a reliable bellwether about at least safety for the largest number. But we should continue to revisit it every month. If people have opinions ahead of the meetings, please share them with me whenever you're moved to do so.
Mike,
Go ahead, Patty.
could you please put the Google Doc agenda in the drive, or email, not the PDF, because I'm not working off the latest version here.
True.
And,
Maybe I could do it since it's. I just, I'll put it with the other agendas.
and I don't seem to be able to see the Greater Milwaukee Green Party folder on my Google Drive.
Then why don't you? We should work with offline on that. Do you want to do that, or do you want to extend the meeting just you and I and work through that?
Right now, I'd just like to be able to get my hands on the editable draft of the agenda.
Oh,
I can share it with. I can share it with you, Patty. That's no problem.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is this ongoing issue of getting it into the right folder first. If we could do that, if we could just figure out, we could do that first and then change the permissions.
Okay, I'll stay on with you, Tom.
No, it's got to be coordinated if you want the original. I can't do it, so.
I can do it.
Okay.
So I'll stay on with both of you, because Tom's been trying to get me to get this folder thing together for a long time, and I've just been busy with health issues and all kinds of things. But
okay, cool.
okay, and then I guess please get your donations, everybody, into Barb, 1246 East Chambers Street. And that's it for me.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Good to see you, Jeff.
All right.
Yeah,
Good to
thanks
see you.
Jeff, thanks for hanging in there with the Fond du Lac thing. We need to put that on accomplishments for next time.
Indeed.
Again, we're probably going to have to meet remotely. I'm sure. I don't really want to start off remotely, but I guess we'll have to see how long this thing is going to last.
Right.
Maybe
Jeff?
next year.
Jeff, did you get an organizer pack?
No, I suppose I could use one.
I'll try to remember to pop one in the mail to you. Just might be helpful. There's some good tips on there.
Yeah, I'm willing to share that with anyone, especially in Oshkosh. I mean, that's really where I've got a few people, but nobody seems to communicate.
Well, you've really been hanging in there, Jeff. So thanks for doing that.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, and people should know Jeff is typically on the Wednesday social meeting, so.
Yeah, are we going to start that back up again?
Oh, well, Barb's been the anchor person. We need like another person to sub for her if she's not going to be there. I can try doing it. I might do one of those take my phone on a walk things if I do it.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll see if she I'll try to show up at 4:00 Wednesday.
Me too.
No big deal. All right.
Take care, everyone. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Thank you
thanks
for
heading out.
sharing.
Okay.
Bye.
All right. So we'll stay in. So this would be kind of interesting. So Greg, can you watch me? I'll share my screen kind of thing.
I think so.
Okay. So I can't hear myself talk when I have this air conditioner on. So, okay, share screen. Which screen? This screen. Okay. So I want to show you where I think it belongs. So that's not the right place.
Can I interrupt you for a second, Tom?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Patty, just so you know, Tom's already shared a little video with me on how to develop this, how to make sure the agendas all go into this one folder.
Mhm.
So I just haven't been able to do that because of other commitments with all kinds of things, mostly family and personal health stuff. But I will, continue to try to make that a high priority. And I don't know if we want to take up Patty's time with,
Well, but we might take a stab at it and then punt if it doesn't work for you.
Tom, I'm actually seeing it now. I can see which folders they are.
Oh yeah, except that I didn't. Well, actually, what I can do is I can put a copy in there. You're not going to be editing it anyway, right?
I need to be able to pull some of the text off and put it in my minutes. That's what I'm trying to do, so I don't have to retype everything.
So if you,
I can just, if I share it with her, Tom, can she do that?
well, I would like to just,
so that we don't take up her time.
Yeah, that
You and I
can
stay on
work, except that we end up. It's just kind of fascinates me the procrastination process, but that's fine.
Well, you and I can stay on and work on the folder thing.
So, so Tom, looking at, so we have the Greater Milwaukee Green Party main folder.
Right.
We don't have a folder specific, a dedicated folder for meetings, do we?
Well, specifically for agenda, I've got under co-chairs, there's an agenda folder, and that's where I was suggesting that it go.
And that's where it will go. I'll do that. That's
okay. We do have also a minutes folder. The agenda, my initial feeling was that agendas weren't necessarily going to be public until a certain point. I think we need to rethink this. Maybe it's not the right place, but anyhow, right now agenda is under co-chairs.
And where would the minutes be?
Yeah, the minutes. Well, can we let's take things one at a time. So are you able to see GMGP-main?
Yeah, and I'm looking at the co-chairs, all of the folders that you have in here.
And you can see the, right, you can see the agenda. Okay, so the ontology of this gets tricky. I wanted us to be careful about sharing too much, but I thought of all things, minutes should be public. So I lean towards that weighting the public concept higher. So you just go to public, and then actually I have agendas there too. So minutes, and then it started to get kind of messy. So I've got under minutes, I've got 2020. And so, for example, the minutes from July, I had them labeled as review, and then because they got approved, I got rid of the term review in front of it. So those are approved minutes.
Okay.
Can I ask a question about the minutes folder?
Okay.
So, typically what we do is Mike and I look at the minutes and specifically make little edits to our particular items that maybe, needed a little bit of editing or things like that. So Patty sends the minutes to us. So, and we're the ones that put them out to the list. So is that okay if we continue with that process, and then we can put them into a minutes folder rather than Patty putting them into a minutes folder?
Oh, sure, except I don't see that. That just isn't happening. It's been years, and people just aren't. So I just got frustrated, and it's like, well, no one's doing it. I'll do it from time to time. So.
Yeah, and that's fine because you do it from the list, which is fine. Those are the final minutes. Is that
right.
okay with
I do
you,
it
Patty?
for the mailing.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. I don't.
Okay. And Patty, what's your email? I'm trying to share this Google Doc with you right now.
It's Patty, PATTI.Ashby, ASHBY @gmail.
Wonder why it's not bringing that up. Dot. Okay.
I don't know if you can see that on my screen. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. First name dot last name at Gmail.
It's not letting me do
I'll
it
just
now.
send you an email here really quickly, Greg.
Well, I got it, but for some reason this thing is not letting me do it. I'll have to do it again. Let's see. Okay. You said Gmail, right?
Right.
Right. Yeah, Google knows if it's an invalid email address. They,
Okay, I got it.
think as a rule they'd reject it.
Okay, it's sent to you, Patty.
Okay, I've got it. Thank you. Let me make sure I can open this.
You're listed as an editor, so you should be able to do whatever you want with it.
Okay.
And then, yeah, well, all right, okay. So I guess we're done with this, and then we can defer.
You and I can work on the folder thing
Right.
right now, Tom, if you want to. You've been very patient.
Okay. All right. And I'm just noticing Jeff's still on, so I was thinking, as a quick side point, Jeff, if you need help with those remote meetings, I think Hangouts, you're really familiar with that. You could use that, or I could help you with other approaches.
Okay, I'm going to hop off the meeting now. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Patty, for so
Thanks,
much
Patty.
all that secretary work.
You're welcome.
Yeah, but I shouldn't turn you down. I'm gonna go for it. So, what do you feel most comfortable with? Do you want to use Hangouts or do you want to continue with Zoom?
Hangouts just seems a lot easier.
Yeah. Okay.
I noticed the Hangouts. It seems like the last few weeks, just about every 5 minutes, it seems like somebody's posting something. So if you're posting or you want to get on a call, it just seems like it's about as quick as you can get on.
So we could create. What do you want to call your chapter? Can you come up with like a 4-letter initialism?
It's GPGP, which is it's not something I came up with. It's Jeff Jacobs came up with the idea of Greater Peninsula Green Party, which
Oh, really? GPGP? Okay.
it's supposed to include everything all the way up to Door County. Nothing I would have thought of doing, but I guess he wanted to go a little bit beyond just the Lake Winnebago area. And
Well, I think it's kind of catchy. People will say, "What the hell is that?" And in a way, that's good. They'll think like, "Is this a mistake?" Or okay.
Yeah, it's I've got no problem with it. Whatever they want to call it. I think to me a catchy name is kind of an aside to the whole thing. I just want to see if we can just get going here. And
Can you email me the list of people that you want in that hangout? I'll create a hangout for GPGP. Well, actually, it'd be probably WIGP-GP. No, wait.
Oh, do you have?
Anyhow, I'll come up with a name, and you can change the name. But just give me the names of the people you want in there.
Well, anyone that you got on the list.
All right, I can come up with my own list, and then you can change it.
Because the thing is, I haven't really heard from a lot of people up there. So I think there was the call list from a few a few days ago that Dave had come up with. And the thing about Oshkosh is that the original people that I had talked to a few years ago, none of them seem to be responding now. So I just kind of felt like, all right, either respond or we're just gonna drop you. So now the only one I can think of right now, get Jeff Jacobs to come back on, and if he wants to invite somebody, then he can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the only thing I can think of.
All right, cool. So then, yeah, Greg's waiting. Greg, what do you want to use, Hangouts or stay with Zoom?
We can stay with Zoom since we're on Zoom.
Okay. So can you, would you share your screen, Greg, and then I can walk you through it?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, over and out.
Okay, Jeff.
Take care, Jeff.
Take care.
All right.
Let's see here.
Oh, I think I'm going to stop sharing mine. Yeah.
Okay, here's my screen.
You are viewing blah, blah, blah.
The
Oh,
agenda,
cool.
right?
Perfect. All right. Yeah. So would you, one thing that, hey, Adam, we're right. Can you, Adam, can you maybe come back and, well, first of all, hello, Adam, how are you?
Hey, what's up?
So we were just in the middle of starting something we've been procrastinating about for about 6 months. And so it's like this task seems to be really challenged, but yeah, I mean, literally, we completed the meeting, and the proposal that you brought up was basically passed in a slightly different language, but it did pass.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I've been following the virologists, and they themselves have kids, and the whole issue of going back to school, and their view is consistent with yours. You know, until we get, what they want is to have kids tested every day when they get up in the morning before they go to school, and they don't go to school until they get a negative on the test result, and the test should only cost like $1. I mean, it's literally possible, but that test is not available in production right now.
Yeah, as of yet. I mean, that's why, like Greenfield, we're debating this again on Monday. But we're looking at going all virtual first quarter, and then depending where the numbers are, we'll start rolling things out very slowly, second quarter or third quarter.
Will they be testing people's like temperature when the kids walks in, kind of thing?
That was the original proposal, and then there's a lot of parents that are objecting to that, objecting to masks, but strangely are supportive of social distancing within the school. But the district here, as most districts are, bringing up that logistically, that's impossible to do. For one thing, there's simply not enough space within an existing classroom or building to do that adequately, unless you do alternate days, but then a lot of parents object to that. And the comeback, and some of it's legitimate, is that, you have single parent households, you have two parent low income households where nobody will be at home because people have to work. So what do you do with the kids? But we're trying to shift that dynamic of that dialogue more toward that shouldn't be put on a school district, and especially on the burden this is going to put on teachers, but is something that should be directed toward state and federal legislators who have really sat on their hands on that issue instead of helping people. For example, a kindergarten classroom with 35 kids during a normal year, there's not enough space. So the safety concerns are huge. And as we look at districts in the South who have reopened, a week, 2 weeks ago, there's horrible reports rolling in already of spiked cases. A couple teachers have died. Second grade classroom in Mississippi, for example, positive student. All of the second graders had to have it explained to them that they're now under quarantine. All of their parents, all of their families, the staff involved. Those are the factors too that the dialogue has to also be looked at. Yes, kids get a better education in person, but we have to look at the safety factors as well, and teacher safety should be seriously weighed. I mean, we have teachers who are filling out new wills. Muskego, Norway, and New Berlin told their teachers, because they're all going 5-day in person, that you have 3 choices. You either come back and do in-person 5 days, you retire early and take a hit on your pension, or we fire you. So it's pretty horrific. But yeah, Greenfield's looking at a slow, incremental introduction. And the temperature check is on the table as a proposal. But, this fight that parents put up is becoming a real obstacle. They want 5 days. They don't want anything else done about it. Because the argument is that kids aren't getting sick, or that kids don't get sick enough, but it's still kids do get sick, and kids
They transmit it.
Yeah.
And but unfortunately, I think so many kids are asymptomatic. They probably won't have a temperature. Sure,
Exactly.
So they could be positive and then take it back to a grandparent or at
Yeah.
home.
The other concern is ventilation. Even with masks, when you are in an interior building, some of these buildings in some districts are, obviously very antiquated, so the ventilation systems are very bad. So this circulates in the air, and you're getting aerosol transmission rates that increase. So some schools are experimenting with putting kids in a room. They're assigned to that room for the whole day, like with junior and senior high. Instead of going to different rooms for subjects, the teachers come to them. So those kids are with, that 30 kids in that classroom. That's all they contact all day long. But the stress on some of these kids as well, because you have to eliminate lunchroom. You have to eliminate large group activities. You have to eliminate
choir and music
band.
is at one of the worst. A
Yep.
bunch of people singing in a room is
Yep.
like a very efficient way of transmitting it.
So that's the other thing is parents say, well, my kid is stressed by not going to school. Well, what do you think is going to happen when they go to school and you have these added restrictions? It's a no-win situation, unfortunately, with that. So what the NEA I work with a lot is perspective is we need to look at keep people alive, keep them healthy, and let the development medically catch up to where it needs to be, especially not only with vaccines, but antiviral treatments, so that when you get it, you're not going to die. And that's what's progressing actually with new developments is a lot of very interesting antivirals are being developed and rolled out. So, it helps when you get it so you don't get it severe. And then it becomes a scenario like you get the flu season, kind of scenario going with this. And that's there, but you need to give it some more time. So this rush to reopen 5 days a week in person, no restrictions, it's it's insane. It's blowing up in the South, and it's going to blow up in the districts doing that here. And we're going to run into shortages of teachers. Teachers on Call, which is the largest substitute provider for the state of Wisconsin for the districts, is putting out an emergency call. They have a massive shortage of subs because all the subs are resigning. The substitutes are not willing to go in once the teachers get sick and substitute in these schools, especially for sub pay. So you can reopen, but who's gonna work with the kids? You know,
So is MTEA, if I went to the website for that, is that, what's a good website that captures this movement, you know?
MTA is pretty good, but National Education Association is better, and even WEAC is starting to put up more about it, as well as and NEA is kind of the driving force. NEA, like I said, I do a lot of work with, and they've put out the call to all locals nationwide that they will have the full legal, financial, and logistical support of the national union if teachers choose to strike. And that's been, discussed as well. I mean, Chicago, for example, threatened it, and then they came back and offered, to go virtual. But you have smaller districts that are really, teachers are really being victimized. And then again, I cue in on New Berlin and Muskego, Norway.
So I wanted to say something. My neighbor, Chris Thiel, he works in the administrative, he's like a manager, at manager level, I think, and works at 55th and Valide or whatever. So
yeah.
I'm just letting you know that he's my neighbor, so I have a kind of a connection. And yeah, he's got 4 kids there at home, and he's working from home. And
yeah, is doing came out with a reasonable plan. They're going the cautious route, and they're going virtual. But problem is, a lot of the private schools within Milwaukee are not following that. So you do get that crossover within the community. Greenfield, the parents are arguing that Greenfield doesn't have a huge transmission rate, but we've been bringing up in Greenfield is to counter that is in a metropolitan area. Greenfield is surrounded by hotspots. West Dallas to the north, Hills Corners, Franklin, and Oak Creek to the south and east. And obviously, metropolitan area, you have crossover within the community. So, there's a concern there, but, it is a thing where we have to look at, the legitimate concern parents have with who watches the kids. So that's where the dialogue needs to be pivoted toward more of why isn't the government doing more to help people stay home, to do those things, especially. You look at models like Canada, for example, is helping that. U.S., not. We've done nothing. I mean, look at the mess with unemployment, for God's sakes. It's ridiculous. But parents need to understand, I mean, what's going to happen when there's a quarantine in the school? Kids are going to be home. And what about the risk? Again, that safety factor is paramount.
Adam, can I just interject something here quick?
Yeah.
Thanks. So, Tom, do you want to do this at another time?
Well, in any case, I think I need a break. I've been sitting for a long time. Plus, we probably should have told Adam, but this is all public. This is still being recorded. So I probably should terminate the recording and the Zoom meeting pretty soon too.
Okay.
You guys could, but yeah, it's all it's fast, interesting stuff, and it's really critical. I was really challenged about COVID because I know quite a bit about it, but I was trying to do all the social distancing that I could while I was petitioning. So we'll find out in about another 15 days or so if I'm going to die, but I knock on wood, I hope I'm okay. And I would say people in general, they're pretty aware. Most people on the street do have masks at they're ready. You know, the mask goes up when you get close.
Okay,
But
well,
yeah,
I
I
will.
think around 1 o'clock, I'd like to. What is it? It's
Okay.
almost 1 now. Yeah.
Well, take care, guys. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen then, Tom, and leave the meeting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and
Okay.
Adam, any last thoughts? I think 1 o'clock I should cut it.
Yeah, just that anything that the party can put forward, like I said, to just show that we stand in unity with, the teachers and the staff at this point, is advantageous not only to the Green Party getting its message out, but, helping in this dialogue because, in the end, teachers and staff are being put in horrific position that they should not be put in. And
Right.
it's life and death position.
So Mike said that he would. He's got a process, and he's going to publish it very soon. So, yeah, I think it's good you brought it to our attention. We've been so focused on petitioning more than anything else, and so we spent a chunk of time on that. But I think we had a good meeting. And by the way, it's on YouTube if you want to watch it. I'll publish a link to it. I don't know. YouTube might be good enough, but I mean, we could put it other places too.
Right. Yeah. It's a good idea, and whatever we can do. Like I said, I'm still a member of the state party, national party, and I'm trying to help around the peripherals. Despite I don't really get along with Barb, but says I kind of take a step back from the greater
Okay.
party. But,
no, it's good to know. Right. So, yeah, it's all. I mean, we can work through all this. I feel good. I'm very. What's the word? I don't hold grudges. I mean, I'm one of my neighbors. Well, whatever. What I'm saying is, yeah. It seems like you're very coherent, and it was valuable what you said, so I appreciate it. And what you said in the last 25 minutes. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, take care.
All right.
We'll be in touch.
You too. Okay.
All right.
Take care. Bye. Bye, Adam.